Hello, friends and residency candidates, and welcome to today's success story interview, where I have the pleasure of speaking with matched neurosurgery upcoming residents, Ricardo. So, hello and welcome.
Hey, nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. So, can you tell us a little bit about your match? I mean, neurosurgery, it's a crazy field to match into, especially for an IMG. So, where are you going to be starting your program?
Yes, so I'll be starting in MUSC, Medical University of South Carolina, this upcoming July. So very excited.
Good. Yeah, I can imagine. Can you tell us, where the journey towards neurosurgery started for you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've always been driven towards the central nervous system. I'm a very hands-on person, and I think it's a more of a combination of what I really enjoyed studying during medical school and being there in the action kind of way. I was a professional athlete when I was in Dominican Republic. I used to do fencing, and so
Okay.
being in the action, being there, I feed off from that feeling that um, kind of being there. And I don't know, and that's the surgical portion of it. And then in medical school, I was involved in research. I did some research in neurocognitive function. And so that also drove me into neurosurgery, kind of a combination of both. And then after I graduated, well, I've been working for 3 years now in the field in neurosurgery here as a research fellow. So that has also confirmed my passion towards it, being able to be there firsthand, looking at a bunch of cases and working in a lot of projects here in neurosurgery. So
Yeah. And so what medical school did you go to?
I went to Universidad Iberoamericana, UNIBE, in Dominican Republic.
And when you were there, did you feel that you wanted to pursue a neurosurgery residency in the
Yes,
United States at that time?
yes, I did. I think the main drive for me to come to the US to train is that I felt that for such an specialized field like neurosurgery, you need a lot of technology and resources, which we don't have in general in our countries, or my country at least. And so that really wanted to train in the best way possible, and wanted to train with all the resources and technologies available for a field like neurosurgery. I think that really drove me to prepare myself to apply and come here for residency. But yes, definitely when I was there, it was my goal, and that's why I studied for my steps during medical school over there, because I wanted to come here as soon as I could.
Hmm. And did you feel like the path to getting there was open to you, especially as an IMG, or did you feel like there was going to be, some major challenges that you'd have to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, definitely major challenges. I think for any IMG that want to come here, we are gonna face some challenges. And for me, the key is to really find an opportunity. You need someone or something to happen and to give you one chance. And you have to grab those chances with both hands, and you have to prove yourself. At the end of the day, they want to, when we come from the outside, it's not just because we are internationals. It's really because they don't have the same feedback they have from people that graduate from medical schools in the US. So you really have to prove yourself. You really have to prove that you come from a good med school, that you come with a good training, and that you can perform and that you can adapt here. So those opportunities, as small as they can be, you have to take full advantage of them and just give your all. And if you're good enough and you prove yourself to be good enough, then you end up making it. And maybe not in the first try, and I can tell you that. But you definitely can get there if you persevere and you do it and you push. Mhm.
So did you apply right away, or did you start out with this research fellowship, or what was the road after medical school to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, so when I was in medical school, only that I knew of at the time, only two others graduate prior students in my from my school had made it into neurosurgery. So I had very limited guidance in that sense. When I but I always looked up to them and asked for advice. I was kind of, because I had my steps already done when I graduated, I said, I'm going to give it a shot. And I applied fresh off medical school. That was back in 2018. And interview season didn't go well. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you that. I didn't go, I got one interview only that time. And during that process, since I started looking at research positions and research opportunities in the US, and I got the offer to come here where I'm now on Mayo Clinic, and at that time I had to commit before a match, and since I only had one interview, I decided to withdraw, so I didn't actually went into the match, but I started my application. And so I said, I'm gonna give myself a chance. I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna try to have a better season later on. And so I came here, and at first it was nothing guaranteed. It was I came as first to do an observership for 3 months, and if they liked me then, and they will give me a research position, and that's how I started. It was an all in
Wow.
really. So sometimes you have to take risks, and sometimes you have to trust yourself that you can do it. And if you really want it, I think looking back is the best thing I did. But it was scary. It was very scary at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. But yeah.
Yeah. Especially withdrawing from the match, you really have
Yeah,
to weigh those potential consequences. Like maybe I would have matched to that program, but this opportunity is really what's going to probably get your foot in the door and
yeah.
really make it more likely to get a match,
Get a match.
upon
Yeah,
like reapplication.
exactly.
So how did you find the research position itself? Was there a process that you went through?
It was tough at first. I from Dominican Republic, I just started reaching out to different programs, different consultants, looking up online, going into different web pages of different programs, different labs. I got myself an interview at another institution, and that didn't go well. It was a very, as an international, I got asked very, it was very tough interview. They were very judgmental, I'll say, one of the interviewers. And so the PI, the investigator that actually invited me for the interview, he was like, well, it's not gonna work, but I can connect you, and
Wow.
I know you're good, you're driven, so I'll try to help you. So through him, I got in contact with my current boss, which is here at Mayo. And he at first he gets so many applications, and he's like, well, you want to try out it, come for here, spend 3 months with me, let's see how you work with the team, how you get along, get a feel of the program, get a feel of this place, and let's see if you get along with them and they get along with you, then we may consider offering you something down the road, but nothing assured. And I was like, I'm in. I'm going.
Let's do
Like,
it.
let's do it. As they said, you need to get one foot on the door, and then you just have to, from there on, it's all on you. And I know many applicants are in the same position, and they're just waiting for one opportunity to be able to prove themselves.
Do you feel like once you got there, what helped you feel confident enough to actually prove yourself in that sense and perform well and, maybe rise above any sorts of like prejudice or judgment that people might have? Was that something you feel like you encountered?
Yeah, I feel like the learning curve was very steep at first.
Yeah.
I had done some research back in med school, but it's not the same. It was not the same at all. So I had to learn a lot very rapidly, and I feel like many times you have to do a lot of self-learning. So you have to teach yourself many skills. But what helped me the most during those initial months was to have I had the chance to work with a who is a very good friend of mine now, but he was a senior fellow there, so he had been working with my boss for a long time, and he was able, we created a good relationship, and he taught me a lot, he guided me. And I think that relationship was very important in the first few months, also because I came here completely alone and I didn't know anyone. So that also takes a toll on
Yeah.
you. But definitely what I will say is that creating good relationships and creating a good team environment and being able to work as a team, being able to collaborate. At first, I was more involved in others' projects, so I will not lead them, but I will collaborate. And in that way, I was able to learn the skills that I needed. So later on, I could lead my own projects. And so
Mm.
later on, also the PIs and everyone could create. I could create that confidence, or they could have that confidence to let me lead the projects. And so but it takes time in everything we do, right? That you start as a PGY1, you're not gonna be left in the OR alone, right? But you have to start from whatever you can do at first to build up into being capable of doing that. And but yeah, I definitely that those were tough months, I'll say.
Right. Yeah, I definitely believe it. But you got through it, and it sounds like you proved yourself, and you ended up in leadership roles and leading your own projects. So it's amazing. How did the actual interview season go for you this time around? Now that you had experience under your belt.
Yeah, it was much better. I'll say I got 5 interviews total. It was a great experience. I enjoyed it very much. I wish we could have done it in person. It was virtual, but I mean, we make the most out of it. Our programs did a lot of social events prior to the interviews to try to get uh the residents to know you, and so that helped. In neurosurgery is funny because you tend to see the same uh, applicants most of the interviews because it's such a small field. So
Right.
so that was good because down the more interviews you felt more comfortable also with the applicants, and you will see each other, and so that also helped. But I did feel prepared. I mean, I've been working in the field for a few years, so in that sense, I was not worried. I think the most important thing for me was to being able to connect with everyone, and to being able to get a feel of the program as well. Because the hardest thing to do virtually is to get a feel of, are you going to be a match at a personal level with the team? You're going to work with that team for long. For me, it's going to be 7 years, so I need to make sure
Right.
that that I can get along with them, they can get along with me, that we can work together, that the philosophy of the program is the same. And like many people focus on like how many cases do you do a year, or what is the, which is very important, but that's easier to get that information even from the internet, but actually feeling how the team dynamics, I think that was the hardest thing to feel during the virtual interviews for sure.
And that brings me to a few questions, but I guess I'll start with, aside from being able to fit into the team, which is incredibly important and one of the biggest reasons to have interviews in the first place. But when they're looking at applications before the interview,
Mhm.
what do you think residency programs were looking for in order to invite people to get to the interview?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. A lot of everyone talks about the steps course. We know that all that is changing too, but I think that's just one point of the algorithm and the filters. I think that's one filter, and it's very important filter. You need to have at least a competitive score for the specialty that you're applying to have good chances. But other than that, also letter of recommendations are crucial. I think that helped me a lot. In more so from international applicants, to have letter of recommendations from physicians here is going to help a lot. So, and I know it's very hard for us to get it sometimes because we don't have the same opportunities to do rotations, clinical rotations, and so on and so forth. But there are many ways that you can do it. Even doing observerships, you can help enough and show enough so they can write you a good letter. And with the letters, I think more than the letter itself is the content. There's a lot of, you need to know who you need to be true with yourself. Don't ask a letter of recommendation to someone that you haven't shown enough, because they're gonna write, even if they agree, they're gonna write a generic letter, and a generic letter can hurt you more than it can help you. Even if you had because the people notice that.
Definitely.
So you need to have good letters more than quantity. I will say quality. And if you can get the number, fill them all out, then even better. So that's one thing I will say. And the other thing is that for me, for example, in neurosurgery, you have to look at other, for example, research is very important in neurosurgery. I know it's not as important in other specialties. So you need to do your research before you apply. Um, and then and those numbers are there, are available for how many publications uh, each applicant that match had, for example, like
Yeah.
number of applications. So keep that in mind. Try to be in the ballpark. If you can be, if you know you didn't do, for example, I had a competitive score in the steps, but my scores were not outstanding. So because I know I have a competitive score, I needed to get something outstanding on my application so I can compete. So and that was research. That's how I did it. There are other ways to do it. That was a way that I decided to do. But whatever you decide to do is just have. I think you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. You have to have a portfolio, and I think letter of recommendation, step scores, research, clinical experience are very important for that.
Yeah, definitely. And when it came to ranking the programs, although it
Mhm.
was virtual, what was going through your mind and your heart when you were really getting to, make that list of 5 programs, which,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's not a ton, so you have to really make pretty big decisions for every program.
Yeah, it was not. It is not. I didn't have the problem that other applicants had. The good problem of having 20 programs to rank. I'll tell you that.
Right.
But I think for me, one thing that really help make that decision is that the matching process benefits the applicant in the sense that you don't have to rank what in the place based on where you think you're going to match, but
Right.
you really can rank based on where you want to. And I think that helps a lot. That takes a lot of a toll on the applicant. But for me, I was just honestly, first of all, I wanted to match. I was gonna be happy just by the
Definitely.
fact of matching, just because I know the odds are not in our favor in that sense. But after that, to make the order, I really valued that all the institutions that I had were very good clinically. So I was not very worried on caseload and what exposure to the field, but I really valued the teamwork, the team dynamics, the people that were there. I'm so grateful I matched in MUSC, which is one of the only places I was able to actually rotate prior. So I spent a
Wow.
month there before. So I was it gave me a lot of confidence because I met everyone in person. I spent a month there. I worked with the residents. I worked with the PI, with the attendings. So that really gave me peace of mind because at the end of the day, I'm going to spend 7 years there. And I want to make sure I'm just going to spend 7 years in a place that really, that you really feel comfortable in. And the other thing is, of course, you need to look at the city, location, all that. I think it's in a second plane, but it's important to consider. But mainly how good of a training you're going to get and how well are you going to get along with the team. I think those are the two main things that I valued.
Yeah, that certainly makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like that rotation not only helped make you feel comfortable, but also probably helped them feel comfortable with
Exactly.
you and,
Yeah.
rank you higher. So,
Yeah.
your research experience plus that rotation with the, you know, program that you actually matched at
Mhm.
definitely lend to being a strong combination.
Yeah.
So what is your vision or your hopes for the next 7 years? What do you expect?
You
And, do
know,
you have a specific goal besides just to get through, the training?
yeah, I go with an open mind. There are so many subdivisions within the field, within neurosurgery. Here during my time, I've had most exposure to skull base and cerebrovascular. So right now, that's what I like the most. But I want to learn as much as I can from the other fields and to be able to make a more informed decision, a better decision down the road to what I want to subspecialize. But I see myself taking advantage of the research years that they have within residency. Neurosurgery normally have 1 to 2 research years depending on the program. So that is something that I'm looking forward to as well. But I just want to start being, I'm just looking forward to being in the OR, learning and being able to take care of patients, to be honest. That's just happy. And I feel very honored and blessed to be able to take that decision. So